This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite team's out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
Reboot your credit card with Apple Card, the credit card created by Apple. It gives you unlimited daily cash back that you can now choose to grow in a high-yield savings account that's built right into the Wallet app. Apply for Apple Card now in the Wallet app on iPhone and start growing your daily cash with savings today. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility requirements. Savings accounts provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC. Terms apply.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. I'm not sure if we played a game last weekend. I don't know about if anything really happened there, but it is indeed US Open Cup Semifinal week. That is all I care about. Again, I'm not sure what anything that's happened in the past or if they played a game last weekend and lost to LAFC. I don't know about any of that. I don't know if that happened.
It's just a rumor.
Just a rumors. I'm not sure if it was real. But U.S. Open Cup week, I'm excited. I need some energy from my podcasters here. We good? Are we good this week, guys?
It is the game of the season. It's what matters, right? It's what we're waiting on.
Game of the season until we win, and then the next game in the tournament is the next game.
A month later, yes.
A month later.
I am ready to attend a cup final again. Yes, sir. Go Red Bull.
That's a good point. I asked Caden here post game. I was just like chatting with him, and he said, "Oh, they're absolutely going to watch that game before they go out and play their game." I think they'll probably have to warm up a little bit before that and not see the end. But it sounds like they're engaged.
I'm a Red Bull fan. Wednesday night.
I'm desperately trying to figure out who plays for Sacramento and anything that matters about them.
I've got some stuff for us.
Yes, let's go to Robert. Robert has some stuff.
Already? Whoa, boom. Okay.
Yeah, my plan
other game
worked.
didn't happen, right?
Yeah, my plan worked.
We are going to circle back and talk about Garrett Bale, right?
Who? Garrett, yes.
Ooh. All right, maybe we can talk about
we'll
Garrett
talk later
Bale.
about that, David. Yeah.
But,
all right,
yes.
let's start with the ominous, shall we? So, Sacramento are undefeated at home in the Open Cup against MLS teams. That's intimidating. Second,
I thought you were going to come out of Let's address the dog first. What's the problem with this puppy?
One,
she loves attention.
That's fine though.
Yeah,
but
that's the risk of hosting is the dog or any household problems that it may occur.
Okay, but I have a question. So, are they undefeated at home, or are they undefeated at home against MLS teams in US Open Cup play? Because
did I say both?
Well, there's just like there's a difference, right? Undefeated at home is like, wow, that's a fortress. Undefeated at home during US Open Cup play is like one of those weird like Bob Uecker baseball announcer things where you're like, on the third Wednesday of the month when Mercury's in retrograde and the pitcher has blue eyes, this guy hits 400. So are they like weirdly good this year against MLS teams at home, or are they like actually good at home?
They're actually good at home. They're 9-1-3 at home this season in all competitions, including 4 wins in the Open Cup. That's pretty impressive.
Much more ominous than the alternative.
Yes. And let's see.
I thought you were going to start that conversation with, because he was like, "Who's playing on this team?" And you were just mentioning that they did sign somebody new, right?
They did. But Luis Felipe, who's a former MLS player, has scored in each of their 3 last Open Cup matches. Rodrigo Lopez, Ro they call him, is their leading scorer in the Open Cup with 4 goals. But they just signed Deshaun Brown, who might ring a bell for some of you. Played with the Rapids, scored more than 10 goals for them in 2013 and 2014. I remember him maybe as a Sporting killer. I don't know. But he won MLS Cup with Colorado in 2013. They just signed him July 22nd. So they are adding to their arsenal in preparation for our match. So Sacramento,
We did too, though. I'm not afraid.
You're not afraid? Okay. Well, from what I've seen, they seem to be a better coached team as far as team tactics, let's say, their organization than Union Omaha was. So that's something that seems impressive about them. Also,
they're in a higher league too, though. So
yes, they're in the
They
USL
should be better
Championship.
coached.
They are lethal on the counter, but they're also good on set pieces. So 2 things we need to watch. But the thing that I think is really, really majorly important in this, and you're going to all guffaw and say, well, that's important in every game. But in both of the last games, against the Galaxy, against San Jose, Sacramento jumped on top. And that's going to be critical at home. If they jump on top against us, it could be doomsday. That's why I think the first 15, first 20 is crucial for us.
Are you saying Sporting Kansas City is not cut out to score a lot of goals and come from behind? Or
Hey, we've come from behind in this cup twice. So, no, I'm not saying that. But I think it's very important because Sacramento's crowd is pretty raucous.
It is.
Yeah, it should be a good venue, I would think. They're going to, like, I heard it described as like a...
Slightly
like
under 12,000.
A high school football type, like a big high school football type setup.
Yeah.
And as a former Phoenix Rising journalist, I would cover them a lot. And Sacramento was consistently a good opponent. And they were always competitive and kind of like, not at the top, but near the top of the league. And then I went to look because I was curious about Robert's stat about at home against MLS opponents in the US Open Cup. They've played 1 MLS opponent at home. So they are 1-0 at home in the US Open Cup against MLS teams this season. They do have a second win. They beat the Galaxy in LA.
Yes, that was in LA. Yes.
Was that was just like a friendly?
No, in the Open Cup. But he specifically said at home. They were only 1-0 at home.
Well, so what's interesting to me though, so they're in 7th place in the Western Conference in the USL Championship. They've only scored 22 goals, 19 goals against, so they're +3 in their goal differential, which is better than us. But 22 goals, and for context, the league leader in the Western Conference is at 46. There's teams that have scored in the 30. All the teams above them have scored substantially more than they have. So they're not banging in goals left and right.
Yeah, and to add on to that, they're 0-2-2 in their last 4 matches in league play and failed to score in 3 of those 4. So I don't think league form is good. Like our league form isn't good, but when it comes cup time, they seem to be on, just kind of like we are. So we have 2 teams with a lot of Open Cup momentum
going all in on the cup, clearly.
Yeah,
and I mean,
definitely.
everybody at this point. But I was looking back at their record here, and they have like a 6-0 win over the Portland Timbers U23 team in the Open Cup. I didn't know that a U23 team could get into the Open Cup. That's kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure SKC2 are not allowed to be in the competition. So.
Yeah, how does that work? I'm confused by this.
I have no idea the rules. Somebody text Mike.
Yeah, that's a Mike question.
It'd be
for sure.
easier to explain allocation money and designated players than to try and explain the...
Don't forget Tam and Gam.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you explain Tam and Jam really quick, dude?
I can absolutely explain
absolutely.
it, but I don't think you really want me to.
Are we trying to
Might
lose
take away
listeners?
from the topic. I'm not sure.
My worry about this tournament, the US Open Cup tournament here, is I went to Philadelphia for that Open Cup win.
2015.
And I recall just very vividly, I remember watching a video of the PKs that was taken from the supporter section, the Sons of Ben, while watching that PK, or while watching those PKs. And after they lost, just the desperation, just the horrible things that were being screamed, and just a defeated fan base, because they were in last that year, and they were putting all the eggs into this basket. So I'm drawing parallels here.
Yeah, I'm not liking the parallels you're drawing, honestly.
And this one guy just very vividly said, and I don't know why this stuck with me. He was like, well, there goes another season down the drain. He was just so absolutely defeated. I just heard it in his voice. And yes, I am very worried that we are going to, because we robbed that from them in 2015, we had our highs then, that we're going to be very disappointed, and we're putting too many eggs into this basket.
So you're saying there's like karma coming back on us for doing that to a lowly last place
Cody,
Eastern Conference
it's the
team?
only damn basket we got. Put your eggs in one basket and watch that fucking basket.
What's the alternative? Is like, oh, we don't care all that much about the Open Cup in hopes that we finish in 13th fucking place.
So, I have a question for y'all. I don't know if this would be interesting. So there's 11 MLS games to go. I'm using Robert's math from his article a little bit while back. We basically need to win 9 of those 11 games.
To get to 48?
To get to 48 points and to maybe 49 to make the MLS Cup playoffs. So I think Sporting kind of went all in against LAFC personally with that lineup they put out there. Do you think that was a mistake and they should have maybe set some of these guys in preparation for Wednesday when, to use Robert's word, that one basket that we have a shot to go ahead and get that thing?
I'm going to for this conversation, I'm just going to be like Westworld and say that doesn't sound like anything to me. And just let you guys, because I don't remember this game. I'm not sure if this game happened or not, but you guys can talk about it.
Are you talking about the game where Garrett Bale scored a goal?
Is this the way you're going to show disrespect to this player because he showed so much disrespect to us by scoring so easily?
Well, and I'm a Tottenham fan, but Garrett Bale, is just out there, I don't know, having a worse man.
Scoring incredibly easy.
Yeah.
Just out for an easy stroll and dominating us.
I got a lot of takes about Izzy. But so who could we have run out? Right? I mean, like we could have put Yuri in, I guess, and played him instead of Remy, maybe, right? But there weren't that many rotational things that we could have done.
Actually, this was the deepest bench Sporting have had maybe all year because of Thommy and Agada showing up and being available and whatnot and getting into the game. But
they play.
I see your point. Like I think, is it the argument of let's build some chemistry on Saturday to head towards Wednesday with someone like Erik Thommy, who, by the way, very excited, looked fantastic.
Oh, I do recall that. Yeah, he seemed to look pretty good. That's now starting to sound familiar. Yes, I remember Erik Thommy playing. Yes,
but we had no center backs to sub, right? Robert Volader made the bench, but our bench was Agada, Duke, Pierre, Poolskamp, Yuri, Ben Sweat, Janice, and Volader. What rotation are you looking for?
Well, what I guess I'm saying is that
I think you just meant not starting Johnny Russell.
If the season is over, MLS play, do you sit Russell? Do you sit Shallowy? Run Shelton into the ground. Sure, that's fine, whatever. But maybe Janice gets out there, something different. Cam Duke could play right wing for Russell. We've seen that before, and just make sure everybody can go hard. Because, it could be 120 minutes on Wednesday. Don't forget.
Right, but also 2 things. Number one, yes, I think it is continuity, momentum in a sense, familiarity for Wednesday. But also, do you really want to, in front of fans who are coming to fill your stadium against LAFC, do you really want to fall flat on your face and risk that? And then have that be even a bigger detriment to Wednesday?
This is a fair point. I was just asking what you all thought was the appropriate thing. With that heat, David, you're in the unlimited eating seats, right? And I heard you were only drinking water because it was so flippin' hot. So.
I had 1 Bud Light and I think 7 bottles of water.
Bud Light's just water anyway.
More or less, yeah.
Gotta stay hydrated. I'm not out here trying to die.
So for real though, we have to talk about Khiry Shelton in this game because
Saturdays or Wednesdays, Cody?
Yeah,
when you say this game, I'm not sure where your head is.
I am. That's why I was like, for real though. I do. Khiry Shelton in this game is one of the hardest things I have had to watch in a Sporting jersey in a long time. And I'm not just saying like, oh, this guy is so bad, like get him off my team, whatever. I'm saying like that it was so clear. Everyone in the stadium. Everyone on the other team, everyone there knew that he has zero confidence. That all you have to do is just let him take the ball and he will mess it up.
So are you referring to the two moments he could have taken on 38-year-old Giannolini and beaten him with pace? Because we know Kyrie's much faster than him, and he didn't.
Yeah,
That's a fine, by the way.
Yeah, because you just called him Chiellini. Can we address that?
That's
sorry.
a fine. That's a fine.
I don't care.
Garrett Bale, not a fine. Chiellini, fine.
Garrett is okay because it's intentional disrespect, but Chiellini, I don't know about that.
Okay, fine.
No, yes, I am referring to those two plays, and it was I don't know how does Chiellini have a scouting report on Kyrie that's just I just need to stand here and let him make his own mistake. I don't know how he knew that already, but no, it wasn't just those two plays. There were other ones. There was the one that I was just like, my God, is this for real? Was someone like stepped in and made an interception and then tried to pass it to someone and it bounced off. Kyrie was just in the way and the ball was turned right back over. Yep. I'm like, oh my God, he seriously can't do anything. And like some of that wasn't his fault. I understand the aspect of just, like he's got the yips, like it's a real thing. It was like I don't know. We got NBA fans here. There was now I can't even not Kyrie. Who was the Russell Westbrook? People were like at times in this last NBA season were like. The fans were screaming at him to shoot the ball because everyone knew he had no confidence. And that is exactly what it felt like watching Kyrie in this game.
Well, the other part
I felt bad. I felt it was hard to watch is what I mean. It felt like I hated it.
The other part of that is Agada's header late in the game. You're like, oh, that's what a striker does when they head the ball. Oh, with power and pace and wow. Okay.
And that's not even necessarily just a shot at Kyrie. Like, oh, that's what it's like to have someone head the ball. I don't even remember the last time we had someone get on the end of a cross or a corner kick. Like,
well, let's talk about Kyrie and not just about his lack of ability against LAFC, but Kyrie's first year with Sporting in 2018, he played 20 matches for us. He scored 2 goals, but he was averaging 0.3 expected goals per game, per 90.
Well, that, and then remember, just in this conversation, you have to add in that the team was like winning games.
Yeah,
was like
absolutely.
The thing that they were leaning on.
And the narrative was the team's winning games. He's creating space for Daniel and Johnny because he's dragging defenders all around the field. He leaves. He goes on his expedition to Germany. He comes back in 2020.
By the way, narrative spin, whatever you want to call it.
Sure. He comes back in 2020. He's played 20 matches, 1,400 minutes, scores 5 goals. And again, is averaging 0.3 expected goals per 90. The next year, last year, 31 matches, 2,200 minutes, 3 goals, and his XG per 90 drops to 0.19. And this year, in 1,300 minutes, 18 matches, 0 goals, 1 assist. He's averaging 0.12 XG per 90. Ooh. So he's not creating chances for himself. He's not creating chances for anybody else. His expected assists per 90 is 0.05. I mean, he's almost a negative contribution on the field.
I mean, I think you could argue he is a negative contribution because to go back to that play where you were talking about where he was just like in the way and the ball hit him, does he expect that they're just not going to pass to him? I watched a series of times where it just kept like pinging around everybody but him. It's like they don't want to give him the ball because they know that possession is going to end.
Oh, I felt that on the play when Erik Thommy got the ball. After Kyrie had already messed up a couple things, I saw Erik Thommy get the ball. Kyrie was making a run, and he just knew to not give it to that guy.
Already. And he's been there. He had 3 practices.
He was on the field for like 8 minutes and already knew to not pass it to that guy.
But like, you know, Kyrie compared to the rest of the forwards in MLS, he's in the 2nd percentile in goals. He's in the 1st percentile in non-penalty expected goals, 1st in shots, 11th percentile in assists. And that's for, you know, that's all. What's the polite way to put this? Really fucking bad?
You've used that word 3 times this pod already.
I even said flipping a minute ago, like I'm not allowed to curse. I curse all the time.
The only thing that Kyrie's particularly good at is pressuring the ball, and he's great at pressing, but if you can't do anything with it, if there's absolutely no final product, what are we doing?
What are we doing? I need that. I need the Taylor Twellman soundbite. I'm going to add that to my list here.
So Cody, I know you're the man in charge here, but does this then lead to a discussion of, all right, who starts up front Wednesday night?
Yeah, I mean, that is where a discussion we need to have, obviously. I had a friend message me that was pissed off that Kyrie was starting, and I was like, well, do you want Janis to be playing to start the Open Cup game, his 3rd 90-minute game in a row on short rest? And, you know, and I don't even know, maybe we saw Agada's like quick impact there, maybe after a few more days of training, maybe he does go with him, but that seems risky to me to go with Agada here. I think Erik Thommy you probably start, but yeah, I mean I'm looking at Giannis again probably starting up top for this game. Is that?
I'm interested. I don't know. Like Shallowy, remember when he played center forward a couple games? I thought he looked really good for like maybe there was just that surprise of having not seen him in that spot, and Minnesota seemed kind of overwhelmed and things were really working, and that was with Giannis and Duke next to him. I mean, imagine putting other guys. But then the next time he started, again, against a better team, Real Salt Lake, that hurt just to say that out loud. But
That's a fine. That's a fine. That's a fine.
Yeah, giving credit to our rivals is a fine.
But against a better team, it didn't work as well. So I kind of wonder, like, would you be better served to put William Agada up there, who is a center forward, knows how to play center forward, even if he doesn't quite know this system yet? There was some sparks of delightfulness, and just play him as long as he can play, and then, make a decision to put in Shelton or put in one of these wingers out of position and into the false nine or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, who do I want to play in my heart of hearts? Agada or Erik Thommy as a false nine? But I'm willing.
Giannis.
But I'm willing. But I'm willing to bet you all of the money in the fine jar that it will be Khiry Shelton starting.
There's no money in this.
I hope you're wrong.
I mean, this is a fake fine jar.
Is it?
Is it real fines? Because I've never paid a fine.
You really do. Oh my God, Kyrie's gonna start this game. Does anyone else think that?
I think that's probably a pretty good guess.
Oh my God, if that happens, I'm gonna be upset.
I think it's a 60% chance.
Because in previous Open Cup games, Khiry has come on as a substitute.
That's true.
As
Gotta
we,
look at that
like
pattern.
we look at Union Omaha, and it was, can we pummel them and then we'll sub some guys on late in the game. But here, I mean, this is the chance to get to a cup final. If you don't think Vermes wants to get out and
So the logic is put Shelton in?
He's going to start who he believes is his best 11, not who the rest of us think is his best 11.
So I think, and I could be wrong, that actually Shelton, Shallowy, and Russell started against Union Omaha and they thrashed them, remember? But then
Russell did not start against Union Omaha.
Did he not? Okay, you might be right. But I do remember, in particular,
Maybe.
In particular, the other two Open Cup games against Houston and Dallas, that exactly what you described, David, is what happened, right? Where they brought them off the bench to kind of provide the spark. Even though Vojinovic scored his one and only goal and Shelton was standing on the sideline waiting to come in, it's like he knew I got to get it right now or I'm never getting it.
R.I.P. Nikola.
This episode is brought to you by Google Pixel, the official fan phone of the NBA and WNBA. The new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro are built different. How? Take the Audio Magic Eraser tool. It helps block out distracting crowd noise so your play-by-play commentary sounds crystal clear. The only phone engineered by Google brings out the audio you care about so your videos sound as crisp as they look. Learn more at googlestore.com/Pixel NBA. Audio Magic Eraser requires Google Photos app. May not work on all audio elements.
All right, so you threw out the idea of Shallowy playing striker or false nine, whatever you want to call it. But, I like that idea. And let's just admit, and I think we all know this, Kyrie's best as a winger.
Agreed.
Now, is it strictly right winger or left winger for Khiry, or does it matter for Khiry?
Are you talking about where he sits on the bench in relation to Zavagnin? The right wing or the left wing of Zavagnin? Oh, sorry.
I think Robert is spot on because, like, if you think about the contributions he's made, think of the Union Omaha game. He makes a run out to the right corner.
I was wrong. Russell did start.
That was so satisfying. But Shelton made a run out to the right wing and played like a square ball across that led to a goal. He did it in his one MLS assist he had this year, a week or two ago, whenever that was. Before that LAFC game that didn't happen. And from the middle, nothing. No goals, no assists. Maybe an Open Cup play. He has some. He does score the fourth goal in the US Open Cup. When we get to 4 goals, he's got both of those.
So we're bigging him up for scoring against a Division III side for the square ball as a winger?
Oh, no, I'm just saying that is his best spot. Doesn't mean he should start, doesn't mean he should be out there at all, but I'm just agreeing with Robert that he should be on the wing if he's going to be out there at all. That's the problem. There's just no center forwards on this team besides now William Agada, I guess. Willie.
Other than the Open Cup, it's a lost season. So whether we run him out there or don't, in terms of the league, it doesn't matter. But if this man is on the roster next year, I really do think we'll see a fan revolt.
I'm pretty sure he's guaranteed through 2023. So
cut him.
Well, going back to my point, though, that we need to jump on this game early, and we need people who can put the ball in the back of the net. Khiry Shelton doesn't fit that bill. So if I'm picking a lineup, I'm putting Shallowy at striker because he is our best finisher in the box. I'm putting Giannis on left wing and I'm putting Russell on right. That's what
I
I'm
like
going
that
with.
too. And I feel like we used to talk about this in the old days in the radio studio about this. I used to say, like, I used to always think Shelby was going to be a striker eventually one day. Like,
Well, it's his movement that is so good. I mean, the way he runs, he's going to disorganize that Sacramento Republic, and they're not going to expect him to start there either.
Right.
Which would be a benefit, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, and when he does play with Jean-Yves, they tend to kind of swap spots, and he'll
They combine
drift
well
out
together.
left. Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason they do is because they have similar ideas on how to play the game.
Yeah.
And I want to add here, there was someone on our site, I don't know the commenter, but someone was saying it was very satisfying hearing me go from a Shelton fan to what I am now. And I just want to add here, like, I never once was like, Shelton is so great. He's so great at scoring goals. I don't think I have ever said anything like that on this
But we
pod.
were a Shelton-friendly pod.
And I think, yes, we were Shelton friendly. And I thought it was clear, it was kind of a shtick. Like, it was a bit of sarcasm. Like,
Good,
because
because every time you said that, I'd be over here.
But it was like,
making a
and I
face.
mean, we were, and the whole thing was like, hey, we're winning. Like, the team was in like first place that year. So it's like, I'm not going to be too mad at whatever. The team was scoring goals, whatever. I got it. That was working. But it's not working now. It doesn't work. So, of course, I'm not going to be.
Well, let's not forget the fact that Russell and Shallowy aren't exactly lighting things up either.
Yeah.
Well,
That's fair.
it's tough to find space to operate when the 9 might as well be in the other team's
Exactly.
They know not to cover him, right? They're not being pulled away by his
dead
runs
space.
anymore versus it was working before. You know, something I noticed in this game, to go back to a positive, is Erik Thommy. Obviously, we all saw he played really well, but Gadi Kinda had been in there doing those same sort of things, and immediately the offense looks so much better with Thommy in there. And imagine if you had a center forward to pair with that, because I think what probably was working for Shelton, like, think of last year. The team won a lot of games with Khiry Shelton at forward, but he had Gadi Kinda behind him making some of these runs and plays and whatnot, and that hasn't really existed this year. Cam Duke, I think, is the closest thing to what Thommy is bringing and what Kinda has brought in the past, but he's just not the same. He's just not there yet, and maybe that's not his best position. I don't know. I think the jury's still out on Duke.
Yeah. So we're all agreed that Erik Thommy's starting Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think you play him as long as he can play.
Yeah. Got to get him in there.
And I think Agada off the bench is actually kind of like a good thing as well, right? Look at that. He was just like running at these tired legs, and he made the quick little turn, and he got Murillo to foul him and draw what should have been his second yellow had he been given actually, that would have been his first yellow. They didn't give him that yellow, if I'm remembering.
I propose a hashtag for William Agada. It's just hashtag Agada go.
Okay.
Is this like how people
But he
use
likes to be
Kinda
called
all the
Willie,
time
so
as
there's
kinda?
all sorts of stuff you could do with Willie, too, but let's
true.
not go there.
Just like that, you're not even a dad yet. Like, how bad are these going to get when you finally become a parent?
Like, even when he scores, I know it's backwards, but when he scores, hashtag I gotta go.
Thad,
Cody may be a
Thad
parent,
is
we don't know
somewhere just smiling, knowing that
He's proud of that one?
he's proud of that.
Okay.
But Chad, going
we'll
back to
see if
your
he
point
listens.
about the depth that we have on this team, I mean, that's the thing. We can throw at Sacramento now is some different looks, for sure. I mean, even bringing in Shelton for Russell late in the game and putting that different look with Agada at center forward striker, that's a different look we can show him. So we got some options for sure.
Or he can come kill a game off if they actually get in the lead. Because remember, that was what everybody
Right.
would defend over the years. It's like, yeah, we might not like him, but he works really hard, and he'll go
Right.
hustle, and
Right.
he'll make
Yeah.
everything difficult and create turnovers and things like that. So if they're pressing and they have to come out of what I imagine will be a somewhat low block against an MLS team, then, Sporting gets ahead, that's going to make a world of difference. So back to your point, way back at the beginning, we got to score first.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to talk about the midfield. I mean, we don't want Uri in the 6, right? Yes?
Oof.
Help me out here.
I want Yuri to play left winger next to
Right, on the
Savagnin,
bench.
while Khiry plays right winger next to.
Because, hey, we get Roger back for this game. There's nobody suspended, right? Roger's good for this one, right?
So on this note of Yuri, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that was put out of someone took us, or I guess there's a Instagram account, SKC Memes, long running account that I have found annoying the entire time. They used to steal our posts and put them on there. But this person that runs this account, who sent Uri a message when he arrived that said, "Welcome to the team," and then was not only sent him a message that said, "Leave my team," but then was so proud of doing so, wanted to take a screenshot and show everyone that he had done this, sent this message to Yuri.
Lovely.
So as much as I have been frustrated with this player, that just is the ugliest part of fandom. And I am learning a lot about our fan base having such a down year this year.
I think
we've been so nice.
I think that's any fan base. I mean, I think we kind of have, right? Like, we're getting to the point of it. There's no return at this point, but I think the Blue Testament in general, like, people would get on our case, as your point was last week in the pod, that we are too nice and we are not hard enough on the team.
If that's the person that's telling us that we're too nice, then
exactly.
Get the hell out of here. I don't care.
I think if you look at the average fan, like the fanatical ones or the crazy ones that are posting the wild stuff, that they're, we were dramatically reading their posts on the Cauldron Facebook page, things like that. Those people aren't the majority of people. I think the majority of people, they're frustrated that it's a down year, but they look at Vermes and they say, this guy, has built this whole club. Like, he's got his fingerprints on everything, and they're not the people kind of calling for his head and things like that. It's the more fringe, I would say, for the most part. And I will say there are people that have come to that position later, and it's surprising to see, but I understand at the same time. Like, it's a bad year.
How about this? This is one this can be the final conversation here. I saw Mike frustratingly took the stance of Bliss out. We've got a new target here. Where does that seem like a more reasonable change to make if a head must roll? Does that seem like a reasonable change for any of you guys to make?
It's quite a switch.
Bliss is an easy scapegoat because, he technically is the head of scouting, even though Vermes truly runs the organization.
The coach is the easiest scapegoat of all time.
Well, not when he's also technical director. like when Vermes is the king, it's tough to fire the coach but keep him as GM.
Okay, so the answer. Clarify this not for me, but anyone else that may be listening.
Cody definitely knows.
What is the difference as Brian Bliss as technical director of like the club versus Peter Vermes being like technical director of the team?
He's the sporting director, technically. Sporting director.
Bliss is the sporting director.
No. Peter is the sporting director and the coach. Okay. And then Bliss is the technical director. But I think these titles are arbitrary, right? Like, every team does them differently. You see like a chief soccer officer or something at some of these clubs that are like coaches or the chief soccer. They're weird titles.
But Bliss is largely in charge of scouting. And international scouting is always kind of a crapshoot unless you're going to go get a guy like Garrett Bale, who is a well-known entity, or
I've heard of that guy,
Jorginho Chiellini. But we have really suffered, I feel like, in terms of our ability to make in-league moves. Courtney Ford looks like it's a great signing in league, but and we're good at trading players out. We've fleeced Orlando for Dom. Dom still sucks. I'm going to call back all the way to our first pod of this year. Dom sucks. But we are not making trades for players like we did when we traded for Ike Opara from San Jose. And there's plenty of other teams in the league. Kellen Acosta is getting bounced around, but he's a quality player. Mark Anthony Kay has been moved a couple times, but he's a really class player who would look great in Sporting Blue, but we're not making moves for guys like that. And the more successful teams in this league are making moves for guys who are already successful in this league. We weren't even an afterthought in the Giassi Zardes sweepstakes.
Thankfully, we were not involved in that.
Sure, but I mean, like, he at least scores more goals than Shelton does. And Andre Shinyashiki got moved earlier this year. And is he going to be like the superstar of the that lights the city on fire? Absolutely not. But he's a good depth piece at the least, and he's going to bang home more goals than Shelton too.
The question I wish I had asked Ilie was, okay, Ilie, how would you have liked to have had Kellen Acosta next to you in Sporting's midfield? How would you have liked that? Yeah.
It makes a world of difference. But you got to look at these teams that, like, most of the successful teams are making moves like that, or they're finding these like fringe MLS guys to fill those role-playing things. And I think they tried to do that last year. If you look at Roselle and you look at Ben Sweat, but Sweat luckily has found his way to the bench, but Roselle is playing a lot of minutes for someone that I don't think anybody expected to be a starter. Yeah.
No, but this calls back to Justin Mapp. It calls back to who was
Brad Davis?
Yeah, Brad Davis. I was going to say something real mean. It goes back to when we signed Brad Evans, who literally never even suited up for the team. Did he even make an 18?
Season. No, he wasn't on the field. He might have been the 18.
Kellen Rowe.
Kellen Rowe.
Quite impressive.
I mean, we're making more bad moves in than good. The other part of it is it's an organizational philosophy, and Vermes has talked about this before, how, every team has a specific style of player they want. And Vermes has said himself, he likes Spaniards, he likes Portuguese players, he likes Eastern European guys. We love our Hungarians. I don't know how the Cypriots would like to be categorized, but, we've
The Israeli league.
Right. And so there's a certain style of play he likes, right? And then he also complains, though, that it takes a lot of effort to get one of these players into Kansas City. If you're from Barcelona, why on earth would you move to Kansas City when you could either stay in Spain or you could go to Miami or LA? There's other teams in this league, New York City FC for one, Atlanta for another, who recruit South America hard. And, if you're from Cartagenas, Colombia, or you're from, Venezuela or Peru, or, Miguel Almiron came from Paraguay, Kansas City's a step up.
That's an easier sell, right?
It's a much easier sell. And so then you're not overpaying. So, but it's an organizational philosophy of we're looking for these cast-offs from La Masia who we're also never going to get transfer fees for, when we could be more like NYCFC, who, invests in guys like Talis Magno, Tati Castellanos, and are going to win with them and then sell them for tons of money.
To kind of defend the Vermes philosophy, or the Bliss philosophy, if you want to call it that, NYCFC is just like a different beast, because of A, it's New York, and B, it's City Football Group. So I don't know, it's not apples to apples. It's kind of like how we were looking at the LAFC roster before the game, and I was like, there's 20 guys on this roster that could start. It's ridiculous. But there's just that element of they're coming to Los Angeles. They're in this beautiful city. Well, if you've been to LA, it's not that beautiful, but to the rest of the world, it probably seems so great. So I think not apples to apples, but I don't disagree with you that they could be looking to South America. I mean, they got Felipe Gutierrez from there, but I guess he was in Europe before he came over, right? So,
but there's also
point.
The league loves Brazilians and Argentinian players, but there's all sorts of, to steal a baseball term again, market inefficiencies. There are guys who play in Paraguay and Uruguay who are not necessarily going to be European superstars, but could still come over here and make an impact. There's guys from Peru. There's guys from Ecuador. And it's an entirely untapped market because we don't go after them.
So should we, in reference to the Open Cup, should we be so concerned about Sacramento Republic, and we're supposed to be such a stronger side? Is it a bad sign that we are concerned about Sacramento Republic?
I'm not concerned.
You're not concerned? Okay.
I think Sporting should win the game, but I think they could lose the game, obviously, right?
3-0.
Oh, bold.
Oh, you think we lose or win?
No, but seriously, scoring first, I think, is going to be super critical, because what's going to happen to our mentality? And this is another point I'm going to make in my article. If our mentality, we go down and we have young guys on the field, Felipe Hernandez, Cam Duke, Caden Pierre, I'm sorry, but they're not ready to handle that. They're not ready to handle going down on the road against a raucous crowd in this environment. They can't handle it.
So the road point might be true, because they have come from behind twice in this Open Cup, but they were both at home.
Right.
So there could be something to that. I don't even know if we know if Felipe Hernandez is going to be available, because he got a pretty good laceration on the back of his head, it sounds like, from... But not a concussion, they don't think.
I know they have a good following there, and it's probably a fun environment. But I don't know if it's at the point. It's not a massive stadium that.
Right.
I mean, Caden Pierre is probably he's probably played Sacramento before, right? I don't. Is that? Do I have my lower leagues wrong here? But I don't know. He's played in leagues and stadiums that have environments similar to this.
Has he played in a cup semifinal?
Right. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe he has.
By the way, again, he looked awesome again. He's so good going forward. He's fancy-footed, almost too fancy-footed for a fullback.
Yeah, he did have a pretty bad mistake towards the end of the game
Yes.
that Izzy bailed him out on. But he double-headed it up in the air and didn't get either of them, or didn't clear it.
He definitely has work to do on his defending, but his progressive carries are exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not super uncommon for a good fullback or a wingback to be more mature going forward than defending, and I think that aspect of his game will develop. But he certainly and I'm sorry to tell you this, Cody, but I think he's our most promising fullback. I think more than Logan and Denbe. I see your hands on the thing to turn off my microphone.
No, I was listening to the buzzing is what I was trying to combat
worse
there.
Cavs than Logan, but I think more potential.
I have no problem with that. I think they're both, I would put them about even in my mind of potential going forward, but yeah.
So, okay, let's think about Cup semifinals Cup semifinals throughout the world of soccer. What's the difference between a Cup semifinal and a final, the way they're played, in your guys' opinion? Because I have definite opinions on it. What are your guys' opinion on the difference of a semifinal versus a final?
Are you talking about strategically?
One of them you win a
just
trophy at the end.
Way they're played.
Well, I mean, like in the FA Cup, it's a 2-leg
No,
semifinal.
that's not what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, once you, I have no
when
idea
you get
what
on the
mean,
field, it's more freewheeling. It's more, we've got to get to the final. We're going to take risks. We're going to take chances. Whereas in the final, it's a little more tepid, a little more. That's why so many finals end up in overtime shootouts, because they are more tepid and more calculated, if you will. Whereas semifinals seem to be much more open and freewheeling.
Interesting.
Do you guys agree or no?
I think that could possibly be true. I think Sporting is going to play that way anyways, because that's how they play. And I think Sacramento, as a lower division side, should sit deep and try to hit on the counter and things like that. Obviously, they're not a big goal scoring team. As you reeled off their record there, Robert.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of a cup final, there's a period of like feeling each other out and maybe not wanting to take as many risks. But no, I always think a cup final is like as ruthless as it gets eventually. Like, in the second half, there's, we always talk about like playoff soccer. It's just everyone is staying in that tackle 1 second longer, one minuscule.
Yeah.
And the beginning of a cup final, I would agree with that. But
no, I tend to agree, Robert. I mean, like certainly our cup finals have all been really conservative by both teams, which is why they ended in PKs.
Yeah.
Except for the Red Bull one.
Right.
Right. But, even like the UEFA Champions League, often you'll see a real feeling out period between the teams because neither side wants to be the one to make the mistake.
Right.
Wasn't that PSG Champions League pretty unwatchable a couple of years ago? I mean, it was not like a great game.
when they beat Liverpool, is that what you're talking about? Or when Liverpool beat them?
Was it Liverpool? Yeah, I guess. 2 years ago?
I was trying to help you out.
I was just staring blankly.
So what's the rest of our lineup for Wednesday night? Is it okay to cover that real quick?
Of course.
Okay.
Well, probably Pools Camp and goal.
Yep.
Yeah, Amelia's got a hamstring, so you would think that's not going to be better.
And
and it's
just
just
the
his
keeper anyway.
Yeah,
That's true. He's started every other.
Yeah, there's a nice redwood that Cody would probably have on the bench just in case Pools Camp gets hurt.
just saying. I like Pulse Camp, but
Those are some thick
two
trees.
got beat near post both times on this. I'm just
Agreed.
saying.
Well,
Agreed.
we'll talk about Garrett Bale's goal in a little bit.
I know this Garrett guy is supposed to be pretty good, but like I don't know, near post twice. I'm just saying.
Okay, so center backs. We'll let David cover this one since he loves our center backs so much.
Pass.
I mean, I think if you're putting the best lineup out there, you probably play Izzy and Fontes. Right?
Wrong.
Who is a better center? Not that they're both playing great or even good, but Balder out there.
I mean, on this team, like we just don't have any.
Is Courtney Ford suspended from Open Cup too? Does this count as a suspension?
I believe
Never
so.
actually even thought of this.
We looked into that, and I
okay.
believe that is the case.
Okay.
Could we play some like weird formation where we only have like
No center backs.
like a zero center back formation? Because here, and I know we're not talking about Garrett Bale's goal
Because now's the time to experiment.
but
Yeah, what are we talking about?
He's not good, and neither's Fontes.
I think Fontes had a good year last year and has been kind of mediocre this year. I think Izzy is still decent, but he just lapses. It's like he doesn't care.
It's still got to be those two, though, right? We're
Yeah,
just gonna have to.
It has to.
Yes.
No one is gonna feel that confident with that pairing. I don't think we have. It's so weird. 2 months ago, we felt like we had 4 really good center backs, and you could play any of them.
I remember us talking about
and
that.
now we don't have a single pairing that we would feel confident going into this game against a second-tier team.
I think if Courtney Ford wasn't suspended all day, every day, I put him in there. You kind of winced at it earlier when Robert said Ford is a good center back.
Well, no,
and
it
he's
was
a good acquisition.
Someone said something about it. Yeah, a good acquisition. And I'm like, all right, in the middle of a 10-game suspension, but okay.
That we wouldn't have known about, but Courtney Ford's not getting turned inside out by Garrett Bale, who wants to go to his left.
Do you know that?
So you let him go to his left.
I don't know that.
That he wants to go to his left.
No, you say he's not getting turned around by Garrett. I think he is very susceptible to that.
I mean, the man wants to go left, and then you let him go left, and then he scored.
All right, let's turn back time, and let's put David defending Mr. Bale in that play.
Oh, I also would have given up a goal. I would have had the exact same result as Izzy. I would have also given up that goal. And then
but you're making a little less than the $1 million+ he's making this
yeah,
season.
I would have given up that goal for like $85,000 and some benefits.
Okay.
Right.
Like not even a retirement, but like just decent health insurance. Yeah, for sure.
You want to be like at least on the supplemental portion of the roster.
Yeah. Like, and just free access to the boot room. But Fontes is also extremely culpable on Chicho Arango's goal, which was a banger, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I know you think a tree could have stopped it because it was quote unquote near post, but I mean that was a rocket.
That was not Bullscamp's fault.
But Fontes was out of position and then never got back into position. There are best options for Wednesday, but neither are good.
So at fullback, to move from this.
Oh, much happier conversation.
In Dembe, I think we all agree is the left back,
and
but
Pierre.
is it Zusi? Was what I was going to ask.
It'll probably be Zeus.
Ugh. Not Pierre.
I think Zusi played
Too young.
very well for the half that he was in before he had to be subbed off. I mean, all the goals were in the second half, and Pierre's fine. And if he has to play because Zusi can't play all 90 minutes, I like him. I'm all for it, but there's definitely that risk of making mistakes, and he has had a few here or there. It's funny because, and I think we're all like this, when you look at these young guys and they make a mistake, you go, yeah, but it's because they're young. They have so much promise. They're going to get there. But when the veterans make a mistake, of course we're less forgiving. And that's why you're being paid to be the veteran and make these solid plays. So, but I bet it's Zusi.
I mean, Zusi and Pierre played the exact same amount of minutes. Pierre had more shot creating actions. He had more progressive carries. He had more dribbles.
And LA scored 2 goals when he was on the field and none when Zusi was on the field. Now, they dominated that first half, at least 30, 35 minutes of that Sporting, and they stopped doing that later.
Also, Garrett Bale wasn't playing in the first half.
That's true.
All right.
I
So,
don't think Garrett played any minutes.
final thoughts. Cody, you'd like us to wrap things up, please,
Yes, we're
gentlemen.
wrapping up here.
Yes. Sporting. We host the Open Cup final. It's going to be a party.
Okay, guys, I gotta go.
Don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.